I got a bunch of feedback curious on how I built the Mesa and also the small stucco home, so let's dive in. Here, the prototype inspiration, a gorgeous mesa behind an unusual Neo-Mayan shopping center in Guaymas, Sonora. While the 1980 shopping center didn't exist in 1968, I have a sneaking suspicion the mesa does. First, we drew some concept art about how we wanted it to look. This quick but pretty pencil sketch does the trick. Next, we cut the side contour pieces that form the back profile of the mesa on both sides and then hot glue them to the layout. Then we stacked a bunch of foam offcuts into the rough shape of the mesa using a box cutter. After shaping it into a more realistic slope profile using the hot wire foam cutter, I carved all the exposed rock faces using my box cutter carving method. It's fun and it takes less time than you think. Now that it's carved, it already looks spectacular. However, there are plenty of gaps to fill. First, I gave it a primer coat of chocolate brown paint. Then I filled in all the gaps in the foam using Sculptamold, making sure to leave the exposed rock faces visible where necessary and realistic. Next, I used some terracotta-colored paint custom mixed from the hardware store. Then we added grill marks, rock weathering colors to get it just right. Next, we used some desert rocks from Arizona Rock and Mineral Company. I mixed some quote-unquote desert varnish directly into the Titebond 2 carpenter's glue to tint the glue holding the dirt and rocks in place. It now looks like some sort of chocolate cake disaster. It does loom imposingly over the town of Esquina and really resolves the backdrop. A layer of static grass was next, along with some ground foam. Consult Luke Talon's tutorial on static grass to get it just right. After consulting a fellow modeler known as BNSF UP Railroader on Instagram, he pointed me to making scrub brush using a trunk of sisal twine dipped in white glue, which was then unwound into gnarled branch structures. Then you flock it with layers of long static grass. Finally, the assembly, once it's done, is spray painted a dark brown below and a sage green above. It really creates a convincing sagebrush or manzanita style plant for pennies on the dollar. Next, Jay removed the masking cardboard from behind the mesa and voila! Wow. Now it's time for the houses above the tracks in Esquina. Most of the houses I'm building will be made out of brick or block, slathered in stucco and featuring corrugated tin roofs. The one on the right will have a special recent cement cinder block addition to the back. The family's finally saved up and got a new kitchen and bath. There's a small, much more eroded mesa upon which the corner homes are built. Construction is pretty straightforward. I actually wrote about it in an issue of Railroad Model Craftsman which came out last year. Link in the description to the issue below. I sketched out a full-sized floor plan and marked out the doors and windows. Next, I measured and cut all the walls out of 60,000 styrene. I then carefully marked all the wall angles with a pen to shape them further. I augured out all the holes for the doors and windows after picking out some appropriate windows I had lying around. If you don't have any extra windows, Grantline and Tichy make excellent windows, or you can salvage extra windows from leftover kit sprues. Next, I slathered the walls in MIG Products concrete paste with a knife and my finger. You can be imprecise with the application as long as you don't cover any doors or window openings. You follow that up by sanding the surface down with 400 grit sandpaper until you get just the right scale texture you want. Make the subroof with 20,000 styrene, gluing it to the building roof and then let it dry for a few minutes before trimming the excess off with scissors. You want the subroof to be flush with the walls because you won't be seeing it. Then the roof. I used Campbell's corrugated metal siding, which comes in a good-sized pack. I cut the strip down into 8 by 3 foot scale panel sizes for corrugated tin. Make sure to work from bottom to top, overlapping each panel 2 to 3 corrugations as you go. Overhang the ends with a scale foot or two to make eaves. I primed the entire model using Tamiya Primer Gray. If you want to keep the roof new, don't paint the roof. If it's weathered, paint it Primer Gray as well. Next, I test fit them on the layout. Still some scenery adjustments to do, but looking good. Then I painted the model the final colors. I went for more cheerful, bright colors with these. This house had a brand new addition, so the back half is painted a natural stucco color, while the original half of the home is painted yellow. A variety of concrete colors were applied to the cinder block walls and unified with a dark cement gray wash to get those mortar lines to pop and the variation in the cinder blocks to show. I added some scrap sprue plastic to the roof to represent roof vents for the new stove and plumbing. Also added were rocks to the roof, so some of the panels would stop groaning in the wind and the rain that hits the region during monsoon season. You often see this in real prototype homes in the region. Still more to go here as I finish the homes in the next episode and plan the town of Esquina from its founding centuries ago to 1968, featuring changes in road layout and structures. We also begin building this incredible brewery. Stay tuned! As always, thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. You guys really have made the difference between me being able to make these videos and not. With each dollar of your support, I'm able to spend more time working on editing these videos and shooting more videos for you to enjoy in the next coming year. We'll be able to see a lot of fascinating new locomotive, structure, and layout projects throughout the year. On Patreon, I'm writing more long-form posts that show a more behind-the-scenes look into some of my projects before they appear on screen. This has been An Urban Era. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, and goodbye.